안녕하세요, 터미입니다. Welcome to our first lesson of the intermediate class. I've been so excited to teach this class until today, so I'm gonna cry happy tears. The grammar we are going to learn today is 아오 달라고 하다, to ask somebody to do something. 아오 주라고 하다, ask somebody to do a favor for somebody else. And 니은 는다면서요. I heard that. Is it true? These are indirect speeches that we couldn't cover in the beginner class. After you learn them, you will be able to tell what another person has said. Everybody, try your best all through the lessons and you'll definitely be the supermaster of the intermediate level. 그럼 시작할게요. 아오 달라고 하다 means ask somebody to do a favor for the original speaker and mainly follows a verb. You can also change 하다 to 말하다 like 아오 달라고 말하다. Also, it is often used in the abbreviated form 아오 달래요 in people's conversation. About the conjugation, first you make your form of a verb and you remove yo and just add 달라고 하다. For example, in the case of 보다, to see, to look, the yo form is 봐요, right? So you remove the yo first and add 달라고 하다 to make 봐달라고 하다. It means ask somebody to take a look. For another example, 읽다 is to read, right? Its yo form is 읽어요. So you remove yo from it and it's going to be 읽어달라고 하다. Ask somebody to read. Then let's look at some example sentences. 동생이 무조건 와달라고 하니까 아무래도 가봐야 될 것 같아요. Because my brother asks me to come no matter what, it seems I have to go to take a look. In this case, 오다 is to come, right? Its yo form is 와요. So you cut off yo and add 달라고 하다 to make 와 달라고 하다. Ask me to come. Please take a look at the next example. 아들이 아침에 일찍 깨워달라고 한 것 같은데 이제 깨울까요? I think my son has told us to wake him up early. So do you think we should wake him up now? In this example, the yo form of 깨우다 to wake somebody up is 깨워요, right? So you remove the yo from it and attach 달라고 하다 to make 깨워달라고 하다. Tell somebody to wake him up. Got it? Quiz! So now, let's try some small quizzes to deepen our understanding. I hope you get full scores. Please choose the correct answer for the blank. 직원들이 작업량이 많으니까 인원을 더. Staff members are asking us to increase the number of employees because of too much work. Number 1. 늘려달라고 하네요. Number 2. 늘리네요. The correct answer is number 1. Yeah, I understand. When you have too much work, you need more people, don't you think? So here, the word to increase is 늘리다. The yo form of 늘리다 is 늘려요. Okay? So you remove yo from it and add 달라고 하다 to say 늘려달라고 하다. Ask somebody to increase. In this sentence, 네요 is added at the ending. So it is 늘려달라고 하네요. Okay? So let's try to pronounce the sentence together. 직원들이 작업량이 많으니까 인원을 더 늘려달라고 하네요. Okay, let's move on to the next quiz. 식당 아주머니에게 국물을 더. I asked the lunch lady to put more soup for me. Number 1, 담아주세요. Number 2, 담아달라고 했어요. The correct answer is the number 2. In this sentence, 담다 means to put into. right? Its yo form is 담아요. You remove yo from it and add 달라고 하다 to say 담아달라고 하다. Ask somebody to put. Here, you want to use the past tense as asked. So you can say 담아달라고 했어요. Okay? So let's read the sentence together with the correct answer. 식당 아주머니에게 국물을 더 담아달라고 했어요. Please read this sentence at least 3 times. Okay? The next grammar is 아워주라고 하다. It means ask somebody to do a favor for another person. I have just taught you 아워달라고 하다. Ask you for a favor for the original speaker, right? You might come up with this question. Hey, Tommy, can you tell me the difference of these two grammar? It sounds very similar to me. Okay, I will tell you the difference. Both grammar are quoting commands, asking someone to do something. However, the person asking the command is the same person who will receive the favor. You use 아워달라고 하다. On the other hand, you use 아워주라고 하다 when the person asking the command is the different person who will receive the favor. So that's why the translation of 아워주라고 하다 is ask somebody to do a favor for another person. And 아워달라고 하다 is ask you for a favor for the original speaker. Do you get it? And 아워주래요 is its abbreviation and is often used in conversations. As a side note, I will tell you an honorific expression. You might say, could you do a favor for person A? Right? And the person A is someone who is older or to whom you usually have to show more respect. In this case, it would be better to change 주다 into 드리다 and say 아워드리라고 하다. Okay? About the conjugation, first, you remove yo from your form and just add 주라고 하다. For example, 보내다 is to send, right? The yo form is 보내요. So you remove the yo first and say 보내주라고 하다. Ask somebody to send for another person. For another example, 있다 is to be there, to exist, right? This yo form is 있어요. So it is going to be 있어주라고 하다. Ask somebody to be there for another person. Then let's look at some example sentences. 저희 어머니께서 아주머니께 이걸 전해드리라고 하셨어요. My mom asked me to give it to you, ma'am. So here, the verb is 전하다, to give, to transfer. So the yo form is 전해요, right? You remove yo from it and add 드리라고 하다 to say 전해드리라고 하다. Ask me to give it to you. Do you get it? In addition, you can see that mother is the one who is commanding me to do something for the old lady, 아주머니, which is ma'am. That's why you use 아워주라고 하다 instead of 아워달라고 하다. Okay? Let's see the next sentence. 아이가 사탕을 너무 갖고 싶어 하니까 내가 와이프한테 그냥 하나 사주라고 했어요. Because my child was asking for candy persistently, I told my wife to just buy her one. It really sounds like what a Korean dad is going to say, right? Actually, Korean men these days are likely to call their wife 와이프, which is exactly wife in English. Okay, so let's get down to the main point. The yo form of 사다, to buy, is 사요, right? So you remove yo from it and add 주라고 하다 to make 사주라고 하다. Tell somebody to buy candy for the child. Got it? Quiz! Okay, so now it's time to try some small quizzes to deepen your understanding. Please choose the correct answer for the blank. 부장님께서 저보고 후배한테 직접 The manager told me to teach the younger worker directly. 가르쳐 주라고 하셨어요. 가르쳐 달라고 했어요. The correct answer is number 1. First, let's look at the part 저보고. To me, 보고 functions as a past position and means to, toward. Especially you use 보고 for indirect speech. Therefore, 저보고 means to me, toward me. Next, the verb to teach is 가르치다. And the 요 form is 가르쳐요. So you remove 요 and add 주라고 하다 to make 가르쳐 주라고 하다. It means ask somebody to teach somebody else. In this sentence, it is what the manager said to you, right? So in this case, you might want to use a respectful speech ending 셨어요 to sound more polite. The answer would be 가르쳐 주라고 하셨어요. Got it? Then let's read the whole sentence together. 부장님께서 저보고 후배한테 직접 가르쳐 주라고 하셨어요. Are you following? Let's look at the next quiz. 그 짐은 혼자서는 들고 가기 힘들지 않아요? 누구 보고 같이 Isn't it too tough for you to carry that luggage on your own? Why don't we ask someone to help you carry it? 들어주래요? 들어주라고 할까요? Okay, the correct answer is the number 2. In this sentence, the verb to carry is 들다. Its your form is 들어요. Right? As you remove 요 and add 주라고 하다, you will get 들어주라고 하다. Ask somebody to help you carry. For here, you want to say it like a question form. So you can say 들어주라고 할까요? Then let's read it together. 그 짐은 혼자서는 들고 가기 힘들지 않아요? 누구 보고 같이 들어주라고 할까요? Okay, then let's move on to the next grammar. 묻는다면서요 means I heard you do something, don't you? Or I heard it is, isn't it? You use this expression when you want to check if it is true about something you have heard or already know. You will often hear this grammar in Korean dramas, especially when the nosy ladies in the neighborhood ask the main characters so many questions about some rumors. So pay attention to it when you watch K-dramas next time. So here is something you know about this grammar. 묻는다면서요 is always used as a question. So don't forget to put a question mark at the end of a sentence. About conjugation, there are 4 patterns: adjective, verb, noun, and past tense. This lesson is our first lecture of the intermediate level, so I will teach you in detail. To begin with, we are going to look at the easiest one, adjectives. For adjectives, it is super simple because it is just adding 다면서요 to the basic form. For example, 아프다, to be hurt, painful, sore. You put 면서요 at the end and make it 아프다면서요. I heard it hurts. Is it true? In the case of 없다, to be lacking, to be non-existent, you add 면서요 to make 없다면서요. It means I heard it doesn't exist, right? Second one is verbs. For verbs, if it ends with a consonant, you add 는다면서요. And if it ends with a vowel, you add 니은다면서요. For example, 받다, to receive, has 티귿 consonant, right? So you add 는다면서요 to the stem to make 받는다면서요. It means I heard you are going to receive, right? Let's look at one more example of verbs. 가다, to go, ends with a vowel, right? So you add 니은다면서요 to the stem to make 간다면서요. I heard you are going to go. Is it true? The third one is a conjugation for nouns and 아니다. For nouns, you put 이라면서요 at the end. When a noun has a consonant like 학생, you say 학생이라면서요. I heard you are a student, is it right? And when it ends with a vowel like 언니, sister, you say 언니라면서요. I heard you are the older one, is it true? By the way, in the case of 아니다, the conjugation is an exception. You have to say 아니라면서요. I heard it's not that way, is it? So you need to be careful when you use it. And the last one is the past tense. Basically, you can just add 면서요 to a verb in the past tense. Therefore, for the word 읽다, to read, the past tense is 읽었다. And you put 면서요 after the verb. So it is 읽었다면서요. I heard you have read it, haven't you? Okay, enough for explanation. Let's look at some examples. 성적이 더 올랐다면서요. I heard your grades got better. Is it true? So here it is using the verb 올라다, to improve, to get higher. Its past tense is 올랐다. So you put 면서요 to the stem to make 올랐다면서요. Let's look at the next sentence. 내일은 아침 일찍 떠난다면서요. I heard you are going to leave early tomorrow morning, right? In this sentence, the verb 떠나다, to leave, ends with a vowel. So you put 니은다면서요 and say 떠난다면서요. Quiz! Okay, so let's try some small quizzes to deepen your understanding. Please choose the correct answer for the blank. 매운 음식은 잘못. I heard you can't eat spicy food really well. Is it true? Number 1, 먹다면서요. Number 2, 먹는다면서요. The correct answer is the number 2. In this sentence, the verb to eat is 먹다, which ends with a consonant. So you have to use 는다면서요. Therefore, you can say 먹는다면서요. Then let's pronounce the sentence together. 매운 음식은 잘 못 먹는다면서요. Imagine the situation that you are asking it to your friends. Okay? Then let's move on to the next quiz. 그 사람, 직장. I heard that person is your colleague. Is it true? Number 1, 동료면서요. Number 2, 동료라면서요. The correct answer is number 2. 동료 is a colleague and it is a noun which ends with a vowel. So you can just put 라면서요 to the noun and say 동료라면서요. Then let's read it out loud together. 그 사람 직장 동료라면서요. Okay, well done. So now I'm going to give you wonderful homework. Please make 3 sentences using the grammar we learned in today's lesson and leave them in a comment. For the first sentence, please tell me something which other person asked you to do. You can use 달라고 하다, ask you for a favor for the original speaker. For example, I would make a sentence like 엄마가 저보고 설거지 해달래요. Mom asked me to wash dishes for her. For the second sentence, please tell me something your close friends or your family ask you to do for someone else. You use 주라고 하다. Ask somebody to do a favor for another person. For example, 엄마가 나에게 동생 숙제를 도와주라고 했어요. My mom told me to help my younger brother with his homework. Okay? Remember the person who is asking you to do something and the person who will receive the favor is different in this grammar. For the third sentence, please tell me something which you have to heard somewhere and you want to check it if it's true. You can use the grammar 니은 는다면서요. For example, I would ask you guys 한국어 중급 공부한다면서요? I heard you're learning the intermediate level of Korean. Is it true? Like this. Okay, that is another homework, which is to memorize 40 words. You can memorize the 40 words from number 1 to number 40 on page 1 in the intermediate vocabulary chart. There is a vocabulary quiz of the 40 words on my website. So after you memorize them, just feel free to try it. The link is written in the description box. That's it! I'm so glad to study with you guys for today as well. I really wish you happiness, improvement, and more success. 그럼 오늘도 행복 가득, 웃음 가득한 하루 되세요.